Yo, yo. Yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to this fine Wednesday afternoon edition of BS with Hannas. It is Christmas Eve. That's me. I'm Nikki Hannas. That's what I call myself online. BS with Hannas is my little usual morning talk show type thing. I like to come out here and talk some shit. I usually wake up and I'll take a nice walk, read some good stuff, drink some coffee or something, do some reading, talk to the people. When I'm done here, I'll go lift some weights or something. I got one person in the chat. What's up? Merry Christmas. Merry motherfucking Christmas. That looks goofy, but I couldn't come out and do this and not. Oh, damn. As soon as I said that, person left the chat. That's fine. See you later, dude. Merry Christmas nonetheless. But yeah, ordinarily, I'll come out here and the premise of this show, I'll wake up and take a nice walk, do some good reading, talk to the people, go lift some weights, go about my business. I took the day off, though, because I fucking love Christmas. I took today off. I took Friday off, so I don't have to go punch the clock. Enjoy some time. I love Christmas season. But that being said, I want to enjoy my day off as well. Not that I don't enjoy this, but doing it on a different timeline. I didn't want to feel rushed. The morning routine is thrown off on days off, so that's all good, man. Yeah, I just wanted to come out here and make sure I still hit the cast routine on a fine Wednesday, an especially fine Wednesday, as a matter of fact. Not that I have a compelling Christmas message per se. When I'm done here, I'm gonna go to church. Christmas Eve service for much of my life. Religion's a funny thing, and Christmas is a funny thing too in some ways. Is Christmas a religious holiday? To the religious, yes. To the non-religious or agnostic or apathetic or even the atheists, also yes. And it depends on what you do with it. Like all things, man. Like all things. And I would consider myself a Christian. I believe in the virgin birth, sinless, perfect life, execution, ascension into heaven, Jesus Christ as God's son, deliberately here on a mission, Christ as the Savior. Yeah, I believe that. Now, when you say that on the internet, and there's a lot of people on the internet. I'm among them now. But when you say that on the internet, here comes the holy brigades. These people who think they're the crusaders of a cause. These people who are more holy than I am. They're more holy than you are, too. This is just a phenomenon I've observed. I've yet to really receive that. But maybe I will, and we'll see how it goes. But when you bring up religion or something like that on the internet, it's evidently a controversial thing. Evidently what one individual believes is a fine door to controversy. So it is what it is. That's Christmas. What else do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about Mariah Carey on repeat over and over? Do we want to talk about our favorite Christmas movies? Our favorite cozy things to do? Our nice matching pajamas? That's all good, man. That's all fine things. But my whole life, at different levels of religious agnosticism or curiosity or lack thereof, I was raised to go to church on Christmas Eve, to go to church on Easter. That's how I was brought up. As I ventured through teenagerhood and adulthood, young adulthood, I stopped going to church. I'm starting to go again now within the past few months. But it was still Christmas Eve and Easter. It just felt proper. It just felt right. It just felt like the correct thing to do was to go to church, whatever church. I'm a non-denominational if I were to have to pick a faction or a sectarian tribe of allegiance to whatever that means to anybody. Everyone's got an opinion and shit. And I don't really, I think it's a good thing to go. I think relationships with God and with individuals, with Jesus, that's between them and the Lord. That's not up to any other person, in my view. A very amateurish, juvenile, level 1 view. But I'm still learning. I'm very new in my faith. I'm very starting, at a certain point, starting over. Another another guy that gets old and doesn't accomplish anything. And then he just starts going back to church and thinks he has it. Maybe. Hey, yo, Jerome Wright, what's up, man? Merry Christmas Eve to you, brother. What's happening out there, dude? Merry. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I just wanted to make sure I got out here and did this. I didn't want to not do the cast just because it's a Wednesday and it's a holiday. I still worked out. I still took my walk. I still did a bunch of reading. Went and crushed a motherfucking shoulder workout. And the gym was packed, too. I went to the local Planet Fitness instead of my usual Anytime Fitness. And place was packed, dude. I could barely find a place to work out. But that's good. That's a good spirit. You know what I mean? Everyone's out getting after it. Everyone's out getting some. Everyone's out ripping. Boulder shoulders. That's fucking right. Yes, sir. So even though it's a little frustrating at that moment, it's all good in the hood, dude. So yeah, it's a Christmas. That's really all I wanted to say. I decided to run the AI experiment because Christmas is, it's topical. It's topical. Let's talk about something cool and on topic out here. And I can't wait to cut this up and put it out as shorts because what I'm learning very quickly when I chop these episodes up and put them out as shorts, they're getting a good amount of hits. They're getting more views than I ever got in my whole fucking life. And that's what brings out the haters, I think, because almost exclusively, almost exclusively, every single comment or interaction on the shorts that I've been putting out is like contentious, argumentative, negative, and it's so funny to me because like I just come out here and I'm just spitting what's on my mind, dude. I'm not, am I trying to be an influencer? Maybe. I'd like to get away from having to make my money by giving my labor hours to somebody else at a fixed place. There's a much bigger world out here than just getting up and going to work, man. Been there, been doing it. If that's what it is, it's all good, but there's got to be something more. And motherfuckers are out here making tons of money on the internet. Not that it's all about money, whatever, whatever, whatever. We can spiral about that all day. I like getting out here and just talking. And when I chop them up and decontextualize it, for example, one of the last shorts, I just saw this comment just now. I just saw this comment just now. It was the section I was talking about the Tate boxing match in which Andrew Tate lost and the Jake Paul boxing match in which Jake Paul lost. Both of them lost pretty poorly. And people on the internet, all these characters on the internet are all speculating about it. Someone commented on it and they said, and here you are spewing rhetoric, talking about the same thing, trying to be an influencer. Hey man, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Thanks for your click. Thanks for your views. It's all good, dude. If I'm trying to be an influencer, I'm not very good at it, and I'm not that worried about it. This is just a fun thing to do, man. Get out. The premise of this is normally I wake up and take a walk, I read, I talk to the people, I go lift. People that got the time to comment on a minute long short another dude on the internet. Maybe they should try that. That's okay. Neither here nor there. It's a Christmas season. I don't need to be a Grinch. I don't need to be a Scrooge because I love Christmas, dude. So I asked AI when this is Gemini. This is just funny, kind of a low hanging fruit thing, but whatever. I said, what is Christmas? Answer as if I had never heard of it before. How would you explain Christmas to somebody who never heard of it? Christmas, Christ's Mass. That's a very specific thing, which is, to my understanding, albeit a brutish one, compounded on top of other things. So I asked AI. Gemini said, imagine if once a year a huge portion of the world hit pause on their normal lives to focus entirely on family, generosity, and light. That is Christmas. In an ideal sense, for sure. I know Christmas time, I look forward to it, man. It's positive. Not always, not always. There's been some dark Christmases. It's an interesting thing, though. It exists. Christmas is Christmas. It exists in its own, like, phenomenon. No shit. Yeah, I know. It's a big deal, though, in many ways. AI said, at its core, Christmas is a major holiday celebrated on December 25th. While it began as a religious event, it has grown into a massive cultural phenomenon that people celebrate in many different ways. Here is a breakdown of the three main layers that make up the holiday. The religious origin. Damn, dude, I keep like coughing. The religious origin. For Christians, Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, whom they believe to be the Son of God. Facts. The story involves a journey to the small town called Bethlehem, a miracle birth in a humble stable, and a message of peace on earth. There's a lot more to the message than that. That's for another time. This is why you will often see nativity scenes, which is a small display of a baby in a manger in many homes and churches. Sleep in a manger, man. Although I don't know if it's sacrilegious or in poor taste or not. There's a meme that goes around every Christmas where it's like a nativity scene, and it's like a bunch of figurines and a band playing behind it, and the caption just says, "Man, that's awesome that Metallica opened up for the birth of Christ." It's like a little mini Lars Ulrich and James and shit. I think that makes me laugh. Things should have a sense of humor after all. AI goes on to say, here's tenet two of Christmas. The cultural traditions, even for people who aren't religious, Christmas is a time of deep rooted traditions. The tree. People bring evergreen trees into their homes and decorate them with lights, ornaments, and tinsel. Gift giving. This is perhaps the biggest part of the modern holiday. Friends and family exchange wrap presents as a way to show love and appreciation. Yeah, I got a tree. I like my little Christmas tree, man. I grew up with a Christmas tree. They can't take my Christmas tree from me. It's probably a weird pagan heathen, black magic, dark arts type of history to it. Gnosticism and shit. Or it could just be an innocent thing that people just did with all the natural symbolism and so on and so forth. That's fine. It is. I'm just going to keep going with this. The third thing of this section is feasting. Families gather for a massive multi course meal. Yep. Eat, drink, and be merry, as some would say. Give people gifts. I love gift giving too. When I was a kid, of course, it was all about what do I get? Me, 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 me. I want this for Christmas. I want this for Christmas. And that's a very natural thing for a child, for someone who's growing. As I've gotten older, it's like, man, and in my personal life, I love to just ball out and give people things. If I'm a successful influencer, all my friends are going to get fucking spoiled for Christmas, dude. I would just be pissing money away. It ain't that important. I spend a lot of money on Christmas as it is. I just don't have enough to spend what I'd like to. You're just telling everyone how good of a person you are. No, 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 no. I really think that. It's one of my favorite things, dude. And I never really got to experience it in a meaningful way until I got sober and all of a sudden stopped spending all my money on weed and coke and booze. You know what I mean? I could actually enjoy being a reasonably integrated human being. I still swear too much. I know. And he's talking about Jesus on the internet. I know. Everyone's going to come at me for what a fucking idiot I am and how stupid I am. He's trying to be an influencer. I know. I get it. I get it. I get it. You can listen to my music, nickybhannas.com. I digress. Why is Christmas so special? AI continues to say. Beyond the presents and the food, the spirit of Christmas. The spirit of Christmas. Yeah, I like that. In the spirit of a thing. Christmas spirit. Powerful. Beyond the presents and the food, the spirit of Christmas is usually defined by light. Since it takes place during the darkest part of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, people cover their houses in colorful lights to create a sense of warmth. Christmas lights are awesome. Anyone who disagrees, I tend to think, is just a jaded, cynical, sad person, most likely. Charity. There's a huge emphasis on helping those less fortunate through donations and volunteering. The haters out there always have something to say about that, but I bet a lot of the real charity and a lot of the real giving and a lot of the real benevolence, I bet you so much more of that happens on a scale that none of us are actually privy to, because how the fuck could you be privy to it? So that's a great thing. That's a great thing. Connection. It's the one time of year when people travel long distances just to be in the same room as their loved ones. Sure is. Isn't that the whole premise of Home Alone? Yeah. People travel. I travel all day long on Christmas. Not super far, but got to go see your family. My whole life, dude, it's one of the only times a year I would get to see my entire family in the same place. That's a beautiful thing. Hey, yo, what's up, EMP? Merry Christmas to you. Damn, you got demoted, dude. You're top fan number 3 now. That's okay. Not in my heart, buddy. Merry Christmas. Would you like me to tell you about some of the unique ways different countries celebrate Christmas, or perhaps the history of how Santa Claus became so popular? I straight up said, nah, I'm good. But why do some people hate Christmas? Because this is interesting to me. AI said that while many people love the holiday, myself included, others genuinely dread or hate Christmas. The reasons are deeply personal, rooted in their mental health or a reaction to the way modern society handles the season. That's sad, man. It is a lot. When my mom died when I was younger, a teenager, Christmas took on a whole new meaning. Because like I just said, it was one of those things where fucking every year, that's when the whole family does this. Mom and dad are doing this. By this point, I'm a teenager. I'm like 17 years old. So a lot of the childish magic, a lot of the you ain't wrong, Jerome. A lot of the more adolescent, juvenile, undeveloped magic, for lack of a better term, had gone away. And then when you mix that with loss and grief and all those like hurtful things, it fucking changes you. Now, in my mind, I'm like a sensitive artist type at my debatably worst, whatever. So that fucks with you and a lot. Everyone goes through that shit at some point or another, man. Everyone has to. The first Christmas without a loved one is like a fucked up thing. A lot of traditions are. When that tradition is broken, people fucking really hurt from that. I'm not unsympathetic to that, but it is also, I've learned in my life when fucked up shit happens to people, it is incumbent that you get over it, or that event will just run the whole rest of your life. It becomes your master, and you fucking sacrifice yourself to it, more or less. It's hard. It's hard. So heart goes out to those people who are dealing with heavy, hard shit on Christmas. You're just saying that on the internet. Nah, man, it's like hard stuff. It's fucking hard stuff for sure. The AI is kind of poignant in that. You know, that's different than like the commies out there that just hate Christmas because it represents a hyper materialism. And these people, these Christians, are only Christians in name only. And they don't actually do anything for anyone. Shut the fuck up with that shit. People are just hating for the sake of it. But maybe that's what I'm doing. The comment sections on the shorts got me super introspective and blah, blah, blah. Moving on. Financial stress and pressure is why people might feel a bad type of way. Christmas has become incredibly expensive. For many, the expectation to buy gifts for family. Most people don't need you to ball out for them. I like spending my money on my friends and loved ones. Most people don't need that though. Most people just need like a little bit of something. They'll be happy with just like the thought. It's the thought that counts. That's true. I found that to be very true, man. Competition, the social pressure to have the best decorations and the most impressive gifts. Healthy competition is good. Unhealthy competition is obviously not good. So, whatever, whatever. Bouncing for Xmas Eve service. Watch it back. Keep it real. EMP, you enjoy that service, dude. I'm going to be late, but story of my fucking life. Why else do people dislike Christmas? Loneliness and grief. Yep. The empty chair. For those who have lost loved ones, the holiday serves as a sharp reminder of who is missing, and they sure do. They sure do. And there's not really a silver lining to that. There's not really a silver lining to that hurt. It's deep, it's real, it's vicious. And when you're in that, you can't really control it, not till you learn how to. And then it lends itself to just much bigger things than Charlie Brown Christmas special. Isolation. If someone doesn't have a close family or partner, seeing everyone else celebrate together can amplify feelings of loneliness. That's also true too. I've been there. Even when in my wandering years, man, I used to just like smoke a big fat blunt. I would just smoke a big fat blunt and listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony and cruise around for a little while and look at all the Christmas lights and then go to church stinking like a reefer. I think I was doing something righteous. In my mind, I was. There was a catharsis there. There was some kind of reaching there. For what? I don't know. The messaging was all fucked up. The way I was operating was all fucked up for sure. But it made it so at least when as I kept growing up every year, I'm like, all right, it's Christmas Eve. I should go to church. I should go to church. Same with Easter. I should go to church. And I've had both of those, even just existing as inclinations on the back burner of my brain throughout my life. You know, Eventually it kind of propelled further action, which then propelled further action and brought me to where I'm at. And where I'm at's cool, man. Where I'm at's good. I'm very blessed. And gratitude, gratefulness, those are big things on Christmas. And those are big things in life, that I've found have to be conscientiously worked on and applied and considered, incorporated. I've never been the type to just be passively grateful. Left to my own devices, I'm passively very ungrateful, very insatiable, and I have a massive appetite if I'm left to my own base level thinkings, my base level psychology. I have to think about being grateful. And every time Christmas comes around, man, I'm like, another year. What's changed? What's gotten worse? What's gotten better in the past couple of years? No coincidence since I got sober, in my view. Everything's only gotten better. Everything's only gotten better, you know? So that's why people, and I guess as AI continues, I'm pushing the 20-minute mark. I don't want to go too much past 20. That's okay. Some people dislike Christmas for ethical or philosophical reasons. They feel the holiday's original meaning, whether religious or about simple kindness, has been buried under a money grab. That's not inaccurate either. Many people find Christmas creep, retailers putting up decorations as early as October, to be annoying and overwhelming. That's not wrong. But that's just commercialism doing commercialist things, dude. I try not to get mad at a dog for barking. Dogs are supposed to bark, you know? Of course, it's once that fourth quarter of the year hits, the machine has to operate. It is programmed that the machine needs to function how it functions, or else it ceases to be, which may or may not be a good thing, but neither here or there. Some people don't like the waste. The sheer amount of plastic packaging and unwanted gifts produced during the season is a major point of frustration for those concerned about the environment. Yeah, there's an overlap between those types of people. Those people. I don't got hatred for y'all people. I'm just, that kind of person. A lot of times is more the commie adjacent, looking outwardly for some kind of perceived enemy or some kind of thing to latch onto to stand against. So they kind of make something up in the favor of standing for something, which isn't to say that, you know, burn all the trash and throw it in the ocean. Fuck it. That's not my opinion either, but ain't it funny? Ain't it funny? Yeah, so that's some of the basic shit. Explaining Christmas to a newcomer. What's the correlation? This is what I ask now. What's the correlation between winter solstice celebrations and Christmas? Because within the music world, when you get a lot of the people who are the original woke. No, the woke, the party of the woke. No, no, no. I'm talking about people that they unpeel a few layers of something and start to look into the origins and actuality of things. The correlation between winter solstice and Christmas is one of the most fascinating examples of how history, nature, and religion overlap. In the Northern Hemisphere, the solstice around December 21st is the shortest day and longest night of the year. And there is an incredible amount of symbolic impact, mythological impact in that, I think. Historically, humans didn't just see this as a change in the weather, they saw it as the birth of the sun, where light finally begins to conquer darkness. Legit. Fair enough, and I like that. Here's how that astronomical event shaped the Christmas we know today. The strategy of co-opting dates. This is where it becomes, I guess, Christianified, evangelized. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, early Christian leaders faced the challenge. How do you convince people to adopt a new religion when they already have a massive week-long parties scheduled for the end of December? The Romans celebrated Saturnalia and Sol Invictus in late December. So, in the 4th century, the church officially settled on December 25th for Christmas. While the Bible doesn't give a specific date for Jesus' birth, choosing this time allowed the church to baptize existing festivals. They pivoted the celebration from the rebirth of the sun to the birth of the Son of God. That's a very objective tactician style answer. That's the history. That's what happened. Bing, bang. That's it. Here's the borrowed traditions section. Many of the things we consider Christmassy were originally winter solstice rituals designed to ward off the dark and celebrate nature's resilience, which is worth doing too, in my opinion. Ward off the dark, reject the dark arts. Evergreen trees and holly, since these plants stayed green while everything else died, ancient peoples like the Druids and the Norse brought them indoors. They were symbols of life that refused to die during the frozen solstice. It then mentions the Yule log, which was a Germanic solstice festival. The mistletoe, that was a sacred plant for the Celts, believed to have healing powers and symbolize peace. That particular section is funny to me. I like looking into it. I like to look into it. I like looking into the esoteric and kind of occult angles of things. And I'm not going to get, A, I don't know enough to get into it, and B, like, whatever. Don't matter. It's not what it means to me, so I don't fucking care. That's subjectivism. That's communism. All right, take it easy with the bullshit. But evergreen trees, holly, Yule logs, and mistletoes. Saturnalia, Sol Invictus. There's a lot to look into for my conspiracy-minded friends out there. Symbolic parallels. The reason the two fit together so well is that they share the same metaphorical theme. Solstice, the world is at its darkest, but this is the exact moment the light begins to return. Sir, yes, sir. Christmas, for believers, the world was in spiritual darkness until the birth of Jesus brought light back to humanity. I would venture to say there's a lot more to it than that, but in terms of the ultimate light being shown upon the world, yes, sir. God is good. Praise Jesus. Amen. Moving on with the AI. Yeah, it's pretty much where it goes. I said, what would define a particularly American Christmas? Because I'm an American. It's Christmas. It's Christmas in America. America. What we got? In the United States, Christmas is a massive cultural melting pot. Because America is a nation of immigrants, many traditions were borrowed from other countries, like Germany's Christmas trees or the Dutch Sinterklaas, Santa Claus, who sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good, for goodness sake. There's a categorical imperative there. There's also a Big Brother parallel. There's also a God Almighty parallel. Santa Claus is interesting. People like talking about Krampus. It's fucked up to me. That's one of the things I see. People prefer the dark, Germanic, wandering forest monster, the Krampus, that terrifies children, instead of some jolly old dude with slave labor camps in the North Pole, which I don't really get either. The elves. Why elves? I had one of my Latino guys one time. He didn't speak English very well. he goes, he goes, well, why Santa have Christmas goblins? Christmas goblins. I'm like, no, dude, they're elves. He was calling them Christmas goblins. That's fun. And that shit makes me laugh. Here's the American Christmas, the big bang of gift giving. While other countries give gifts, Americans have turned it into a major economic and cultural event, citing Black Friday, the mall Santa. The mall Santa. Bad Santa. Funny shit. Or the bootleg Santas from Jingle All the Way that the Schwarzenegger has to fight. Beats the shit out of a bunch of bootlegging Santa Clauses. That shit makes me laugh. Christmas morning in the US, the main event is almost always Christmas morning. Families gather in their pajamas to open a mountain of presents that Santa left under the tree. The pop culture canon. America has a specific set of media that defines the feeling of the holiday, which includes the movie marathon, like It's a Wonderful Life, comedies like Elf and Home Alone, and the 24-hour marathon of A Christmas Story on TV. The music, the American Christmas Songbook, plays on loop in every store and radio station for 2 months straight. Yeah, that's true. But as far as Christmas movies and music go, I don't really care. A lot of it's trendy to be like, Christmas music, I can't stand it. I can't stand the Christmas music. And that's just hater talk in my mind. I know because I've worked in food. I've worked in a mall food court when I was a teenager. And as soon as that switches and it's just Christmas, when I was a young bull, when I was jaded, when I was arrogant, when I was smoking pot, when I was drinking, I'd be like, man, I can't stand this bullshit. Turn it off. It's just another day. Yeah, maybe. Maybe check your attitude too, cuz. But I'm very ambivalent towards it now. It's Christmas. What do you expect? It's Christmas music in America, dude. You're going to hear Mariah Carey. You're going to hear Kelly Clarkson. You're going to hear all the same shit, all the remixes. Welcome to it. Your first time? If so, welcome. Movies, yeah, same deal. I don't even like Elf. I don't like most of the mainstream Christmas music movies. But in my mind, it's like Jingle All the Way is the only Christmas movie I really love because it's turbo time. And I got no time for Booster. Don't you forget that. As far as music, I mean, shit, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is pretty obvious. I like August Burns Red's Christmas album. But the supreme Christmas music, in my view, is the Christmas Spirit album by Los Lonely Boys. Because that dude, Henry Garza, can rip a fucking Fender Stratocaster, bro. Their version of Carol of the Bells is outstanding. Completely outstanding. There's a lot of good Christmas blues out there, too. You know, I don't think I would ever make a Christmas album. That seems like low-hanging fruit just to do something commercial and accessible, and people get paid off it for sure. But it's kind of incongruent with who I am. But that's okay. Neither here nor there. But yeah, I'm going on a half hour now. Spiraling, AI-induced spiraling. Just trying to be an influencer. Man, I'm just having fun out here. Thank you to everybody. A couple homies in the chat that came in and said, what's up? Appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas to you. To the whole wide world out there, YouTube, the world, the void, any and all. Merry Christmas to you guys. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I don't hate you for it. That's all good. Happy holidays and shit. You know, it's a good thing, man. It's the resolution of a year before we find ourselves thrust via time into a new one. And, you know, I find moments like this, you know, Christmas time and certain things are useful. I like that element of pausing. It's like AI said, imagine if you could just pause your day-to-day life. It's a hard thing to do. And if you can make the most of it, that's a very valuable thing. And I tend to do that on Christmas. So that's a Be Hannas Christmas message for y'all. Thank you for hanging out on this fine Wednesday edition of BS with Hannas. That's me. On the internet, I call myself Nicky B. Hannas. You can find my music. I call it heavy blues metal. NickyBHannas.com, NickyBHannas.bandcamp.com, Nicky B. Hannas on all streaming services. This live YouTube show is on YouTube at BS with Hannas. I'll send it out to Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, so on and so forth. And, if you like it, awesome. You can support it if you want. Patreon.com/Nicky B. Hannas. If you're indifferent, that's cool. Thanks for hanging out. If you hate it, let me know. Tell me I suck. Tell me everything I done wrong, motherfucker. But that pervades the Christmas spirit. So I'm going to shut my mouth. Keep it real. One love. Merry Christmas. I'm out. Later. That was an anticlimactic ass part to end it on. Yeah, there's something about the blues and Christmas I really like, man. This is one of my blues songs. Benny's Burner in G. Here's the climactic part. It was just bad timing on my end. Shit. Later.